Okay, do me a favor, because it's just after lunch. Can everybody, okay, stand up for a second. Everybody just stand up, please. Come on! TEDxDubai. Okay, everybody, listen, I know some of you, okay, cut the music for a minute, thank you. Now, some of you are too cool for school, I appreciate this. So some of you will not want to even move your body, get up, or do anything. I will quantify why I am doing this. There is a reason, okay? But they put me on after lunch, and I'm here to talk about health and nutrition. I don't know if that's deliberate. I'm unsure. But what I want to do is a little test to see your reflexes after you've eaten a certain amount of food. I want you to put your hands out like this. If you, okay, if we're able to. Listen, you may have to think differently to do this experiment. And it's just while we get a few stragglers in, and then my time will begin. My time has not started yet, because they're quite strict here on this thing. After 3, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we're going to clap our hands. Now, you may have to find a different way of doing it, because some of you say, I can't, because there's people in the way, so forget it. Other people will think, well, if there was a way, what would it be? So we're going to go, after 3, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we will all sound like it's one clap, right? This is the idea. Okay, let's try. I'm watching you. Okay, this guy stood on the chair, you see, thinking laterally. We like it. Okay, here we go. I love a TED audience. He's only got to stand on a chair, he gets a round of applause. I love it. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Against a few stragglers. 1, 2, 3. That's not bad. Okay, this time a little closer together. We're going to go 1, 2. 1, 2. You're thinking your hands are hurting. Don't do it as hard. What's wrong with you? 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, this time really close together. We're just going to go after 1. 1, 1, 1. Fast as you can. Scream. Yell. Okay, sit down. Thank you. Sit down. Okay, now I will start my time with this little thing here. Hasn't started yet. Okay, listen. Now you've all got, I can't see any of you now. Okay. The reason why I do that is twofold. The first one is this, and it's quite a serious thing, is to make sure that I get a cheering standing ovation. And the only way I can do that is to manufacture it at the beginning. The second, more important reason why I do that is because I need you to pay attention. Listen, nothing will rob you of a nerve energy more than when you have some food, depending on the kind of food that you have. So I don't want you sleepy during the next 12 minutes, which is all I have. Listen, for those of you who don't know me, I'll explain who I am briefly and then get on to my one disease, one solution hypothesis. You really need an open mind for this. My name is Jason Vale. I guess I'm known more around the world for my pseudonym, which is Juice Master. My mission is to juice the world. I've been in the industry of health and nutrition now for well over 16 years. I've written 9 books on the subject. They've sold over 2 million copies. My friends bought them all, which was good. Thank you to them, more power. I've traveled the world lecturing on this subject. I have the privilege to do that. I've also listened to God knows how many lectures on the same subject and read what appears to be thousands and thousands of books. I've even set up my own juicing and health school. At the end of all that study, I come to 2 fundamental conclusions about this subject. Number 1, and those of you involved in health and nutrition or disease will understand this to be true. The more I studied this subject, the less I knew. It's like a big black hole. I believe they've deliberately overcomplicated the issue. I'm into simplifying everything. They seemingly have, or we seemingly have, hundreds, thousands of different names for different ailments and different diseases. At the same time, we have different hundreds, if not thousands, of different solutions, pills and potions to that. Every year there seems to be another syndrome. It only was when I stopped looking at this from an academic point of view, but with a common sense head on. And the problem with common sense, it isn't that common, right? The minute I put my common sense head on, it led me to the second, and I believe the most fundamental conclusion of them all, and that is this, and you need an open mind. It's the title of the talk. It's not the easy way. Who went on to that? We don't need to go back. Okay. It's one disease, one solution. Now, I've got a very short space of time in order to try and get my one disease, one solution hypothesis across to you, and I'm hoping, with the help of my little Nemo friend here, okay, not all of you can see little goldfish in the bowl here, but I'm hoping to get across what I can see clearly now. The vast majority of illness and disease can be treated in exactly the same way. Not only the same way, but in an incredibly easy way. Now, so often it is the case that an easy solution to a problem is staring us in the face. But we overcomplicate the issue so much, we can't see the wood for the trees, so to speak. Here's a typical example. A few years ago, a story was going around. I don't know how accurate it was. You may remember it on the internet. It was to do with NASA. And NASA have some of the best minds, of course, on the planet. They do. And what they decided to do, they realized that when they was up in space, they couldn't write. So they decided that what they needed to invest their money in and their minds was in a pen that you could write in space with. And they put, apparently, so the rumor goes, $100,000 into creating what is a zero-gravity pen. And no doubt they were very happy with their new invention. And they went up to space, and the Russian cosmonauts met up with them. And no doubt the Russians, too, wanted to find a way that they could write upside down and all around in space. But instead of investing all that money and time, they just brought along a pencil. Now, it's an old story, I know that. Look, I don't know if it's true or not. There is a zero-gravity pen that you can buy. I don't know if there's much of a market for it, but still, there is a zero-gravity pen you can buy. The reason why I'm saying it is to illustrate that just because you put tons of money into something, or the best minds, it doesn't mean it was the best or the easiest approach. In the same way, just because we are spending billions of dollars creating all kinds of pills and potions and some of the best minds on earth in order to treat different ailments and diseases, it doesn't mean it's the best approach. I can't believe we managed to put a man on the moon in the 1960s. Here we are, 21st century medicine, and the first point of call is still to develop things that will treat the symptom of disease instead of getting to the very cause of the problem. Now, we move on. I believe there's a pill for every ill. There you go, thank you. There's a pill for every ill now, and an ill for every pill. I believe we're on the verge of what I call Pharmageddon. The pharmaceutical industries, and this isn't all about anti-them, but we need to understand that when it comes to treating our own health or ailments, that it isn't always the best or the simplest or the easiest approach. We also need to understand that every single medical pill that you take for any ailment, and I'm not against short-term medical intervention, I want to make this clear, but they are poisons. Now you need to understand that sometimes there are adverse drug reactions, but not small ones. Sometimes there's a magnitude. Here's just one example. By the way, the Arabic translation, right? Sorry, that's Google Translator. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I apologize, right? Okay. I tried. I didn't really. I just did that, really, to be fair. But anyway, medical drugs kill over 100,000 people in the US alone. Now, this wasn't overdose. This was taking the drugs as directed. Now, they will put this down as collateral damage. In the war against disease, they're doing more good than harm. And I would be right behind them if I believed that this was the only solution to the problem. But I know, and hopefully you will very soon, that once you understand the one disease, one solution hypothesis, I believe a lot of those deaths were unnecessary. They need to understand where I'm coming from here. It's not just from an academic point of view or study. The journey that led me here was my own story. Just very briefly, I haven't got a lot of time, as I keep saying. This was me. Okay. I was a very heavy smoker, smoked 40 to 60 cigarettes a day. I was very overweight. I had breasts. For a man, that is not good, I will tell you now. I had eczema. Eczema to the point where I had eczema at the back of my knees, and your body heals overnight more than during the day. And sometimes I would sleep like this, so I'd wake up and it would literally crack. I was cut from head to foot in a skin disease called psoriasis. It's now gone. I was using the Ventolin inhaler asthma spray 14 to 16 times a day. Now, I was told there was no cure whatsoever for my skin. I just have to live with it. And I was also told there was no cure for the asthma. Now, I want to make something clear here. I am all for short-term medical intervention. Whatever great minds created the asthma spray, thank God they did, because otherwise I would have been dead. What I'm against is long-term, what we've reached now, this Pharmageddon, whereas instead of finding the cause of the problem, we're always aiming at the symptom. Now, I'm going to do my level best to try and explain what I mean with my little help here of my little goldfish friend. This is Nemo. Say hello to Nemo. And you did. It's wonderful. Okay. I don't know if you're in the medical profession, whether you know a great deal about health and disease. This is something that's going to affect all of us. I like to simplify something. What astounded me was the different names of all kinds of my ailments. And then how come all of them went when I did one particular thing? Because I believe there's just one disease fundamentally, and therefore I believe there's one solution to that disease. Let me explain what I mean. Okay, we are all equipped survival machines. We all have a filter system within us. You have too. This is why I could smoke 60 cigarettes a day, God knows how much to drink, overeat, and I'm still alive today because of my filtration system. But what's going to happen? Just imagine little Nemo swimming around here. Now, it's a very simple lesson. I pour in, I think, right, I'll just shove in a little bit of coffee, right? Going on there. I'll have a couple of cigarettes going in there. Few fags. Well, you like to have a cigarette with the coffee, huh? You know? That's how it is. Okay. 3 billion free radicals are released when you have a cigarette. 3 billion at a time. But the body is a filter system. Survival's number one. Health comes second. Survival's number one. The body will do anything to survive. A bit of chocolate going in there as well. Okay. A bit of sugar. White refined sugar. Look at this going in here as well. A little bit polluting the environment where it is. Now, it will do anything in order to survive. Now, you've got to remember, 1 can of cola has 7 teaspoons of white refined sugar. 7 teaspoons. White refined sugar is the fat-producing hormone. 1 out of every 4 people in the UAE now has diabetes. It used to be something called early onset diabetes, but it's happening more and more. Now, listen, don't forget the fat. That's got to go in. A little bit of fat going in here as well. Okay, now you don't have to have solidified fat. You can have hydrogenated vegetable fat as well. Why not mix it up, right? So have a bit of that going in as well. You get the point, and then maybe a little bit of cola going in there as well. Now, you don't need to be medically trained, right? What happens is the fish now, it goes, oh man, I've got a headache. Now we're so used, right? Listen, But we are so used to treating the symptom of disease that most of us, if we have a headache, we think we're low on aspirin. That's the point we've reached. We think, I know the problem, the cause of my problem. I just need some aspirin going in there. Then I'm good. It's got a bit of a headache, but also it can't swallow the food the same way. It's got a bit of indigestion. That's okay. I got some Rennie. Let's have a bit of Rennie in there as well. Add some more pills. Now, the problem is the pills themselves cause pollution themselves. They're poisons in themselves. So what happens? The filtration system kicks in. And all that happens now is the fish, like just say the fish is coughing. You give it some cough syrup, it stops coughing. This is not good. It's like driving along in your car. The red warning light flashes, telling you need some oil. And instead of topping up the oil, you carry on driving because you rip out the red warning light. You can't rip out the red warning light and carry on driving. You will seize, you know? So you can't keep doing this. So what happens is the little fish, after a while, the little fin here, it doesn't move. Little fish has got arthritis. Little fish got arthritis, can't move. But that's okay, I've got some cortisone. So I just shove some of that in until we get to the cause. I have no idea what the cause is. Then the little fish gets a little bit fat. A little puff, it starts puffing up a bit, but now there's some weight loss tablets too. So we can put that in. You get the point that I'm making. I wish I had more time, but I haven't. It's swimming around in all this toxic junk. The environment where its cells are bathing, I'm all covered in oil. I didn't think this through with a cloth. But anyway, the environment where its cells are bathing is now getting polluted and dirty, so it's getting sicker and sicker. Now, I do this talk in schools, and I say to children as young as 6, 7, I say, look, you're not medically trained, but in order to solve the problem, and I'm just going to throw it out there, in order to solve this person's arthritis problem, psoriasis problem, cough problem, you name it what you will, what would you do? You'd check, of course you would. You'd clean the water. That's what you would do first. If you clean the environment where the cells bathe, then everything's got to get better. It only comes down to 2 things. Toxicity and deficiency. I've had the privilege of working with genuinely tens of thousands of people all over the world. At our retreats, all we do is remove the toxin. It doesn't matter what they name their disease. It's almost irrelevant. We say, look, we're not going to treat a specific disease in a certain way. What we're going to do is this. We're going to remove the toxicity, the rubbish going in, the internal pollution. We're going to change the environment. This is the most important environment, by the way. So we're going to change it. Then we're going to add in some of the deficiencies, not just what you're having, what you're not having. So for me, because I'm the juice guy, right? So we use freshly extracted vegetable juices seeping in their body. And all that happens every single time, because I'm not medically trained, so I can't treat, prevent, or cure disease. Not allowed. Not allowed to say it. Not allowed to do anything. We've reached stage now. If you had scurvy, and I said to you, here's a lemon that will cure your scurvy, I would be put in prison for practicing medicine without a license. The world's gone mental. But anyway, it's true, man. The world's gone crazy. Maybe that's Farmageddon. Who knows? Man, toxicity versus deficiency. You clean the environment with the cell bait. That, and unfortunately we're running out of time here, that unfortunately is my one disease, one solution hypothesis. But I'll leave you with this, and I know I'm being raced off here, but I'll leave you this very quickly, and that is a quote that changed my life, because I want you to change the environment. And normally my seminars are 10 hours, so this is tough, right? Okay. The quote that changed my life was this. There was an 87-year-old man living on the streets in London. They interviewed him on a program. They said, what's your secret? Why? Because he looked so well. He had all his own hair. He had all his own teeth. They were in a bag, but he kept them. No, he still had them on his hair and in his mouth. The guy looked phenomenal. They said, what's your secret? He said, I never, ever eat junk food. Never. And they said, well, hang on a second. You're a homeless person. How can you make that choice? He said, I go down the markets, and they give me fresh fruits and vegetables at the end of the day. They're going to throw them away. I go to restaurants. They give me lean proteins. And then they said to him, yeah, but hang on a second, but still, why do you do it? As if all the fun is like just stuffing yourself senseless. And this was the quote that changed my life. This guy apparently was homeless. Remember this. And these are the words that he said. I hope it resounds with you. He said, if you don't look after your body, you'll have nowhere to live. Now, if you think that's true, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. It doesn't matter how many bathrooms you've got. The only place we ever live is here. I sincerely hope you move from a squat to a mansion as soon as possible and clean the water. I'm Jason Bell. Thank you very much, and goodbye.